Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Cassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about the Pisces New Moon. This is happening in the Northern Hemisphere on the 13th of March, 2021 at 22 degrees of Pisces. And this is a very powerful new moon because we have not only the sun and the moon conjunct in the sign of Pisces, but we also have Venus and Neptune as part of this conjunction. And Neptune, being the ruler of Pisces, is the ruler of this new moon. So that's a whole lot of Neptunian Piscean energy that we have going on. With Venus also in the mix, this makes this incredibly creative. The creative potential, the manifesting potential for this new moon is off the charts. It also makes it a very imaginative, a very idealistic, a very dreamy energy. And so this is really helpful because when we talk about new moons, they are the ideal time to set intentions because the moon is new, right? It's the phase of the moon that we're at is perfect for that process. And so this really allows us, with all of this Pisces energy, to not hold ourselves back by logic, to not hold ourselves back by what we think is realistic, but to really dream that big, seemingly impossible dream. Because under the influence of all this Neptunian, Piscean, Venusian energy, the impossible seems very much possible. So really take advantage of that with this new moon. Take advantage of that highly creative energy, this super, super intuitive energy. This is like a great time for meditation, a great time for connecting with your higher self, with source, with your team, your guides, whoever. There's a lot of heavy psychic energy going on here as well. Creative energy, psychic energy, romantic energy. Yes, this is a very romantic new moon with Venus and Neptune. It's the perfect mix for a highly romantic, a romantic evening. And also to manifest anything surrounding our romantic desires, to manifest that ideal partner, right? This is beautiful energy for that. It's an energy that's really full of compassion and understanding and higher service as well. This as well as unity, right? Because Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's when we come into that understanding that we are one collective consciousness and we really appreciate and feel into what that means. There's a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion with this new moon. This is also amplified by the fact that we have Ceres in conjunction with Chiron. And so this is a major, major healing energy. There's a lot of strong divine feminine energy coming through in this new moon. And it's interesting that this major conjunction or stellium or whatever you prefer to call it in Pisces is being sextiled by Pluto and true black moon. It's about a 4 to 5 degree difference, but we're going to call it. And so that is really, really empowering energy, especially for the feminine. So the feminine is getting this electric charge of empowerment. However, she's very much in her divine feminine. And so we're able to really work with that in a way that is very characteristic of that feminine energy, in a way that is highly loving and compassionate. Anything that we do, anything that we're looking to manifest, if we have the highest intentions involved, it is going to be that much more powerful because this energy is really, really supporting loving spiritual service. So anything that you're trying to create or manifest around a loving spiritual service is very, very supported. And it's a really great time to plant seeds for this. This is that energy where we're going to be thinking about the collective. We're going to be getting that vision, possibly. I just heard a vision of love, which I think is a Mariah Carey song, so that's really interesting. But we're getting this vision of our part that we play in the grander scheme of the collective evolution. So we're really seeing that. We're really feeling that more than anything else, right? This is a feeling moon. We're really feeling that and being able to connect with that deeply, which is really, really, truly powerful stuff. Yeah, it's a very gentle energy. It's a very gentle and supportive energy. And it's also interesting because we have still, and you guys who watch the daily readings have heard me talk about this a little bit as well. We have an aspect going on that was going on and has been going on for the past few days, but it's still strong enough that it's worth noting within this new moon. And that's the bisextile between Mars, Chiron, and Saturn. And so that's where we have 2 sextiles and a trine all connecting these planets together. And it's really feeling like a harmonization of our healing process, especially where our empowerment has been concerned, which we went through all through the last half of 2020, and we're still experiencing, right? As we still have Chiron in the sign of Aries. Mars has now left Aries. Mars is in Gemini by this point. Saturn is now in Aquarius. So we have 2 air and a fire sign, right? Fire, air fueling that fire. And so this is really fueling our passion. It's allowing us to see how far we've come. What have we learned about our empowerment? And how can we put that into action, right? With Saturn. Saturn is about the lesson. Saturn is about the structure. And Mars is about the action. So how can we show and exemplify what we've learned? How can we really step into our power? And how can we do that in a loving, benevolent way that is full of compassion and full of empathy and carries those strong divine feminine characteristics? This is very much a new moon where we can put into effect that understanding of the fact that we plant those seeds, we set those intentions, but then we just remain receptive. We release them. We let them go. Remember, Neptune is the great dissolver. It's all about releasing and letting go. So we release those intentions. We let them go. And then we sit back and we allow the universe to deliver. Yes, we take the concrete actions that we need to take in order to do our part. But we don't chase, we don't try to control, we allow, we are receptive. So it's very much an energy of learning how to be receptive, of learning how to balance all of that fire with that water, right? So yeah, just really, really gorgeous energy that we're going to be experiencing. Like, inspire and allow yourself to be inspired during this new moon. All right, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to say about it. Just going to look over my notes for a second here. Yeah, just a lot of deep healing for the divine feminine, a lot of tapping into our divine feminine energies. We do want to make sure with this much Pisces energy, we do want to make sure that we sometimes we get drawn towards escapism and things like that. So escape into your daydreams. If you're going to escape, right? Do something positive with that energy. Start a creative project. Escape into that. Don't turn into the lower vibrations of those escapist type energies. And we're going to start out with some work your light cards. Clear. Guidance for this new moon in Pisces. What guidance do we have? So we have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? And you will be hearing those whispers, those callings of your soul, because Pisces is the energy of the soul, right? And then priestess, how you're being called to step up and lead. And this has been coming out too quite a bit, right? So for a lot of us, our soul is calling us to step up in some aspect. And with that bisextile that we were talking about, and a lot of these energies, that sextile with Pluto and true black moon, we really are being called to step up. This is us stepping into our empowerment. This is us stepping into the next role, the next phase of our lives, stepping more deeply into our purpose, and really being that leader. And we can be leaders in a lot of different ways. We can be leaders simply by showing people the way, showing, like, we don't have to take people's hands. We don't have to drag people, right? But we can exemplify, and we can teach through that. We can lead through that. It's like the most powerful leaders, I think, lead through example. And so that is one way that people are being called to lead. And there's a lot of different ways that people are being called to do this. So just pay attention to where it is that you are being called to lead, where it is that you're being called to step up, where it is that your soul is saying, like, the time is now, like, we're ready. It's that kind of energy. And then we have trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? So intuition really coming through strongly. Your soul really coming through strongly and speaking to you during this new moon. And then don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And so that this is energy that we've really been working with as well. And when we talk about this empowering energy, that's an aspect of it. A lot of us have disempowered ourselves. We have sort of dumbed down our light and our shine and our brilliance in order to fit in order not to be noticed, not to make any waves. And so now is the time to not only ride those waves, but make those waves, right? Of course, in the most beneficial way possible. And then we have transformation on the bottom of the deck. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. And there is absolutely, I feel, a lot of deep healing and integration that is going on with this new moon. As we said, some of the healing of that divine feminine energy. And I'm actually wanting to pull, where are they? I reorganized everything over here because I have a shopping problem when it comes to cards. You guys know this. Clear. All right, let's get some guidance from the Divine Feminine Oracle. All right, so we have Mary Magdalene coming out, the apostle to the apostles. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. And I love this, right? Because that Piscean energy taps us into our divine nature. But it's also that reminder that we are also human, and you can be both at the same time. We don't have to be one or the other. We came here to experience being human as divine beings, right? So it's not an either or type situation. And I think that that's something that we're all learning, is how do I integrate all of this spiritual knowledge, all of this, everything that I'm learning, all the different ways that I'm shifting and growing. How do I channel that into a human experience? How can I allow that, instead of like my spirituality and my experience of my spirituality being when I go to meditate, or when I go to a class, or when I turn on a YouTube video, or when I pray, how can I bring that into every aspect of my human life, right? Because that's what we're doing. That's how we create heaven on earth, by bringing our divine essence into everything that we do, and knowing that like we can, that is possible to do. We don't have to be, I'm going to be human right now and I'm going to be divine here. Humans are divine. We are here to remember our divine nature and to shine that out into the world in all of our interactions, to carry that knowledge and that energy with us and radiate that. So I really love that energy. Mary Magdalene is also one who comes through a lot to help the teach. She in the Keepers of the Light deck is on the card, The Teacher Awakens. And she's here to guide people who have a message to share, who have something to teach. She's like a patron saint for that. So that energy, of course, coming through very strongly when she got set down on the, how are you being called to step up and lead, right? Then we have Queen Esther, the morning star. My ego is in the service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. And this moon, I'm very much feeling that divine timing aspect with this Pisces energy, and it feels as though for some people things are going to be manifesting that we're waiting for that divine timing to come through. And so really receiving those manifestations of that. If you've been sitting around like, all right, we're waiting for divine timing. When is divine timing going to catch up with my timing? For some people, that's happening now. So I really like that. And I like this, my ego is in service to my soul. And we've talked about this before, right? The befriending the ego. The fact that the ego can be our friend. It is here to serve us. What happens, and the way that the ego becomes distorted, is when we allow the ego to lead. Instead of being in service to us, we end up in service to our ego. And that's when things get twisted. And so we want to bring it back and balance it out so that our ego is serving our soul instead of the other way around. We want to call in our ego when we need it. We want to give it credit and we want to give it thanks, because its job is to protect us. Its job is to keep us safe. Its job is to guide us. But it only guides us through past experience, right? It guides us through limitation because the ego likes to play it safe. And so we retrain our ego by, even when it pipes up and it tells us that's not a good idea, you might fail at that, I don't know about this situation, we do the thing anyway. We have that courage. We have that faith. We have that trust in ourselves. And we do the thing that our ego is afraid for us to do. And eventually our ego sees, oh, wait, that's not so scary. Wait, we didn't die. Wait, we're okay. And then it's conditioned to kind of up level, like the ego gets an upgrade. And this is how we sort of help that ego to progress, right? And we use it as a barometer. We allow our ego to tell us when something feels out of balance, when something feels unsafe. But then we tap into our higher intuition, our higher knowing, our divine selves to say, is this factual or not? Right? Is this a period where we should listen to the ego? Or is this a period where the ego now needs to be retrained so that it can catch up to where we're evolving to? And eventually it does catch up. That's my take on it anyway. And then we have Zhao Zing, the mystic of peace. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. And so that's why that meditation, that taking that quiet time out is so important to clear the mind of all the clutter, to clear it of all the noise, so that we can hear. This is a great moon to meditate with. This is a great new moon to meditate with, because our soul is speaking to us. We're very connected to it with this Pisces energy. And so we want to sink into that still, quiet space where we can hear it more clearly. And if I can find it, I actually want to read Queen Esther out of the book. And I think that this one's organized really weird. I think there's a key that tells you the pages that different things are on. All of these different decks, they do it differently, right? Oh, and I love how that was interesting. Mary Magdalene was the first card there. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find it. I really wanted to, because I felt like there might be something about the ego being in service to the soul. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I just wanted to read a little more about that. 146. Let's see. The ego has a timetable that the soul couldn't care less about. When we are feeling stressed or threatened in some way, fear can be exceptionally loud and can inform the ego to work overtime in trying to get something accomplished or to manipulate something to happen. The natural flow of energy that's always at work behind the scenes, the universe's capacity to assist us, then gets blocked. When we are in service of love, we are following the dictates of our soul. And when the ego is in service of the soul, divine timing ensues. Esther mastered this art. Even under extreme duress, she listened wisely to her soul. She became a queen by letting her love for her people inform her feminine intuitive powers. This is her imperative. Trust that everything is aligning in divine timing. Trust your soul voice. And I really love that, because it talks about the service of love. And we talked about how anything done or any seeds planted with that highest intention of being in service to love is highly supported during this new moon. So I love that confirmation there. Let's see. I want to read Mary Magdalene since I noticed her as the first reading here. Mary Magdalene represents the fierce, unwavering love that we all have access to within our own vulnerable hearts. It's a love that renders all things sacred, from the animals to the angels, from the poorest to the most powerful. It's a love that sees the inherent worth of all things. And it's a love that remains even through the darkest times, even through death. Her love is the one that resurrects. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene relates that Jesus came to unite us, to demonstrate to us a true human being, an anthropos, meaning a person who is both fully human and fully divine. This is what Mary became, and it's why she was so beloved to Jesus. She didn't seek to follow him. She sought instead to become her true self. Mary Magdalene reminds us that we have the power to receive vision from within. We are worthy of such proximity to the divine, because that's the other half of what it means to be truly human. She reminds us that there's a bridge between heaven and earth, and that we are that bridge. Ooh. And she wants us to remember that the truest church we can ever enter is in the heart. This is where our true power rests, and where love never ends. And the meditation is, where has my love not yet reached? With the intention being, I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. I really like that for an intention or an affirmation. That's really powerful. This whole reading was really powerful. Yeah, Mary Magdalene was such a powerful, she's just such a powerful guide to have, right? Like, she was in her own right an ascended master, and people don't always give her credit for that. There's a lot of misinformation surrounding Mary Magdalene. So I'm feeling her very much as a champion for people who are misunderstood as well. And just that, yeah. Something was trying to come through, but I lost it, you guys. It's okay. It'll come back if it's meant to. But yeah, I'm just feeling her presence. And I'm really noticing here, it's interesting, how she's holding an egg. Do you guys see that? Yeah, fascinating. All right, anything else from this deck before we continue on? Yeah, her energy really calls to me sometimes. I really, really love her energy. Then we have Dakini, the enlightened feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. So really moving with that intuition, you guys. Really trusting in that. Trusting in ourselves. And then Rita of Kasika, the patroness of impossible causes. Of Kasha, rather. Rita of Kasha, the patroness of impossible causes. Did we not talk about how the impossible feels possible? Excuse me, under this moon. I am miraculous. My prayers create powerful channels of possibility. All right? Anything is possible. The impossible is possible. There is no such thing. All possibilities are possible. And there are an unlimited amount of possibilities. So really sinking into that. Really, this is like a moon, a new moon of like a miraculous new moon. A lot of that beautiful miracle energy in the air. I really, really love it. It's so, so beautiful. And then I love on the bottom of the deck here, we have Akalanda, the goddess of never not broken. Everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love. So this is allowing our struggles to make us stronger and bringing love into all situations, liberating ourselves, freeing us through the power of love. That power of love so strong with this new moon. And then underneath that we have Anana, the queen of heaven and earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. And that's a message that's been coming through a lot as well. This energy of seeing and accepting and loving all parts and all aspects of ourselves, really just being open and vulnerable. And with this new moon, I feel like a deep level of self-acceptance that we're able to grasp. We're able to tap into that compassionate, empathetic quality and really turn that in on ourselves as well, which brings a whole different level of healing when we're able to do that. And so if that's something that you've been struggling to do, to love certain parts of yourself, work on that during this new moon, because there's a lot of energy to assist and facilitate in that process. All right, what else do I want to pull here? I'm trying to think. Where do we want to go? I feel like, honestly, that's pretty complete. We can close with a couple Archangel Power cards. Clear. But I think we got the gist of it right here. I think we got the guidance. So we have Archangel Zadkiel coming through. It is time for transmutation. Carry the violet flame. So working with that violet flame energy, this is very much an energy. This is like transmutation and transformation through the power of love, right? Which, I mean, really all transformation is ultimately at its core. But really tapping into that and utilizing that power of love to facilitate our transformations and our manifestations. Open your heart with compassion. Enfold others in love. And this is Archangel Mary. All right, so Mary coming through strong right now. Yep. And of course, this is Archangel Mary, not Mary Magdalene, but still, I really like that. I appreciate that, right? And this is all about compassion, enfolding others in love, and enfolding yourself in that same love, and allowing yourself to be enfolded in the love that is unfurling its arms to you. And then we have Archangel Christine. Accept the Christ light. Act with wisdom and loving compassion. Compassion, compassion, compassion. Right? How many times is that energy going to come out? That is so key. That is really the overriding energy of this new moon in general, is just that beautiful energy of compassion. And I want to actually read the Accept the Christ light from and that's interesting too, right? Because we had Mary Magdalene coming out, and the reading talked about Jesus as well. And now we have the Christ light coming out. So that Christ consciousness energy coming in strong with this new moon, which is really, I always say this, it's really beautiful. It is. It is. All right. Your guidance is to open up to Archangel Christine and allow her to fill you with Christ light as well as wisdom. Know that from the moment you invoke her, she starts to pour unconditional love and golden wisdom into you. She helps you experience everyone and everything from an enlightened perspective. Take a moment to feel her energy flowing into your mind, and then consciously beam the light you have received to others. Archangel Christine calls on you to approach every person you meet today with wisdom and loving compassion. Notice how they respond to you. In addition, treat situations around you with sagacity. To the exact extent that you exude wisdom and loving compassion, Archangel Christine will help your life transform. And were we not just talking about transformation as well? So really call on her. Call on Mary Magdalene. Call on Jesus Christ. Call on Archangel Christine, Archangel Mary, Archangel Zadkiel. I mean, there's so many ascended masters and archangels and beings to call on as well if you want that assistance, right? Yeah, so beautiful. So just become that beautiful channel of love. Really, that just sums it up. Be that light. Embrace your light. Radiate that light. Turn that light back in towards yourself and envelop yourself, bathe yourself in that light during this new moon. And honestly, when you become love like that, your manifestations naturally are drawn toward you. You don't even have to put a lot of effort into what you're manifesting. When you become love, you attract love. You attract joy. You attract bliss. So just become that which you are seeking to attract during this full moon, or this new moon rather, and watch those blessings unfold. Watch that healing unfold. Sink and surrender into that healing. Allow this Neptunian energy to dissolve all that no longer serves. All right? I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. If you liked this video, like this video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how this is resonating. There are links down below to donate, and you guys do know that. It is appreciated when you do. And my email is down below with a description of the services that I offer. Please reach out to me if you would like some assistance at this point in your ascension process. I would love to provide some of that for you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You fill my heart with so much joy. Let's have a really, really beautiful new moon. For those of you who do enjoy the new moon manifesting ceremonies, we are doing another one of those. We do them every new moon. And so this is a combination. I talk about the astrology. We have a shaman who opens up and calls in the directions. We have a lovely singer who sets some beautiful vibrations with her voice and brings us that healing and clears the energy with the tones of her voice and the songs that she sings. And then we have the lovely Beth Newman who comes in and she does some downloads for us. Some Theta healing downloads, and then we go into a Theta healing manifestation ritual all together. It's really powerful when we combine our energy like that. And so I will link the event down below. Go to the link I'm going to put is a Facebook. It's a Facebook invite thing. If you guys don't have Facebook, I can try to link probably just a link for the payment down below as well. It's a $10 event. It says free on Facebook because that's the way that Facebook does it now. They won't let you put prices unless you're paying them to put a price. But it is a $10 donation, and the links to donate are in that group. If you guys do join, whether you go through the Facebook group or the Facebook invite rather, or whether you just send money directly to the link that I post below, make sure that you send your email address as well so we can get the Zoom link sent out to you. All right, and that's going to be at 6:30 EST on the 13th. So some of you have joined us in the past. We've had a really good time. I look forward to seeing any of you guys that are doing that, hopping on over there. But whatever you do, just really enjoy this new moon and all of the powerful energy that it has to share.